It's been said that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and if that's true, then everything I'm about to say can be summed up in the following image. Oh dear. The English language fails me in trying to convey both how upsetting and kinda funny this is. Ads are everywhere. They're on your phone, in your dreams, in your walls. And ads are how social media and the people on it get paid, which is something I feel like most people understand at this point. This is the price of free. This is how media gets done and funded and, you know, get the bag. We all appreciate, like, we all get it at this point, I think. And that's well and dandy to an extent. But this is offensive. All of our favorite social media apps are being cluttered with lazy and annoying ads. It's almost as if maybe instead of complaining about this, we should spend less time on social media, but surely that's not the option. No, let's not do that. Instead, let's talk at length about why it sucks and how we can fix it. I'm not gonna fix anything. I'm just gonna talk about it. Like at a family function with some of your cousins and then like one of your aunts and uncles walks by and you do like the hellos and how are you doing, and then they don't leave and you're just there like, oh really, you're gonna sit down and we're gonna start talking about school again even though we've done this 3 times already, and you're gonna keep asking questions and I have to keep fake smiling. We're okay. I'm not saying you don't like that aunt or uncle. What I'm saying is there's a time and a place for everything, and 9 times out of 10 that is known to kill the vibe. But imagine it wasn't your aunt and uncle, it was instead Domino's Pizza. There's a social boundary we typically don't like brands to cross. Again, we understand these things are free, so you're gonna advertise. I understand that, that's cool. But why are you in my comment section? Why are you doing trends that my friends are doing? What are you doing here? Stop it! It's like, you know what it's like? It's like when you see a teacher of yours out in public. You're not supposed to exist in this part of my life. Why are you here? Because I feel like you know you're not supposed to be invading this space. This is private area. This is private property. Why are you here? I'll tell you why you're here. You're here to push an agenda, and I don't like agenda pushing. Is that a phrase? That sounded better in my head, but you get the idea. How do you do, my fellow teens? That's what you sound like. You're embarrassing yourself. Just stop. And it's not even just because you're trying to sell me a product that barely works. It's because you don't know the real me, Dad. You don't understand internet culture, so why are you here? You know, maybe the Gen Z intern who you paid to run this page, maybe they get it, but they don't have free reign to do what they want and what the rest of us would like because they have you as oversight. Rational adults who really, it's not your fault you don't get it, but you just don't get it, okay? You're not actually down for the cause. You're just trying to use our trends and our jokes as ploys, and we see through your game. We're not impressed. Because when I see a fellow youth referencing a meme, it's camaraderie, it's friendship, it's community. It's someone who understands me trying to make me laugh, and I appreciate it. But that's not what you're doing. You think our jokes and our references and our brain rot are nothing but tools and your ad budget. Well, guess what? They might be, but I'd like you to stop, please. And of course, I understand why you're doing this. Advertising is all about humor and relatability. Social media is all about humor and relatability. That's where all the people are. I understand why you're doing it, but I don't want you to, because you have a certain way of doing things, and that's fine for normal media. But social media, the rules are different here. I think there is a deep disconnect between what an ad exec thinks is funny versus what the youth online think is funny. State Farm commercials haven't been funny since the Obama administration, and that's fine.
This is ludicrous.
Ludicrous. All right, who called for ludicrous?
Sorry, we meant this is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't tell ludicrous what's ludicrous. Ludicrous tells you what's ludicrous.
Okay.
Because on TV, like, they don't really need to be super funny. Like, we understand they're gonna be campy and corny and, like, laughable a little bit, whatever. Like, it's fine. You can get away with dad jokes on TV advertising, but you will receive no such niceties on the wasteland that is the For You page. It is a tapestry of a finely tuned collection of jokes and humor that is suited specifically for my generation and my generation alone. You see, I couldn't even begin to explain why this is funny to a normally functioning 40-year-old. And so it is with advertising on social media. It's hard to just fall in line and blend in with Gen Z humor. It's not an easy task to accomplish. A lot of the times it's simply not advertiser friendly, and I'm not even talking about like in an inappropriate sense. I'm just like, there are certain things a company can't do because a lot of the things that we find funny are simply upsetting. Case in point, do you remember the trend where the joke is at its core, my parents are dead? Now, if you're asking yourself at this moment, which one? That's the problem. We don't want to be friends. Stop trying to be my friend. What you're doing is trying to get me deeper and deeper in debt and getting me to buy things that I don't want or barely need so that I can be even more entrenched in this cycle of economic dominance. All I'm asking is that if you're gonna do that, can you be upfront about it and do it in 30 seconds or less before I watch a YouTube commentary video about a Disney Channel original movie made 10 years ago, like a respectable man? Now, this isn't to say that brands can't do anything funny. I think we all remember that glorious time in 2017 when the Wendy's social media manager thought he was about to be fired, but then eventually just became like, what, the mayor of Twitter for like 3 days? That was pretty fun. Or, and I don't think many people realize this, the time that Taco Bell made a musical with the girls who did the Bridgerton musical about the return of the Mexican pizza, I am truly embarrassed and ashamed to admit how many times I have listened to it in its entirety, completely unironically. I like it a lot. It's understood that if something in this life is free, no it isn't, we get that, but it's the laziness, the shadiness, and the brands not understanding their place in society that really grinds my gears about it. You're not our friends, you can't sit with us. Cool, relatable teens, that is. I did turn 20 this year, but shut up, I'm clinging to my youth. Back in the day, advertising was a much more shared experience. There was no way to tailor ads to specific people or to very specific sub-niches or groups, so we all got them. And that's what allowed certain ads to be iconic, the fact that we all got them and liked them. Every generation, I feel, has like one or two iconic lines from ads that just stick with them, such as, "Where's the beef?" or "No one outpizzas the Hut," or from my generation, one of our personal favorites, "Peanut butter chocolate great when separate, but when they combine they make the morning time epic from a morning time epic, R-E-E-S-E-S, P to the U double F that's R-E-E-S-E-S, P to the U double Reese's Puffs." I'm sure we all quote that on a day-to-day basis. I know that I do. That doesn't really happen anymore, unless like take out Super Bowl or like World Cup or anything like really revolutionary like that. When was the last time you laughed with a friend over an ad that you had both seen independently, or like quoted it or like sent it to each other? You probably can't remember because that doesn't really happen anymore. Ads used to be a part of pop culture. It was a shared experience that we all held dear. Now that was, I mean, was it a voluntary shared experience? No, but we all did it. But now ads are tailored to the person. Who are you? Where do you work? Where do you live? Do you have any kids? What's the name of your spouse? What's their deal? Do they like cats? You married? Are you a working professional? Are you unemployed? And I do remember seeing an article about how Facebook has dozens of data points on each of its users. A data point being, well, take any of those things that I just listed, think of like 90 more of them. Facebook knows that about each of its billions of users. Because of that, they can send hyper-personalized ads to anybody who they think will respond to them. And because of this, online ads are like infinitely more personalized than a TV ad ever could be. So it makes sense that as a child, your entire homeroom class was completely aware of the Sprouse Twins Danimals cruise that I'm pretty sure nobody won. But now, it's very hard to get a room of people to all be familiar with the same non-Super Bowl ad. That sentence makes sense. Yeah, I said that right. And this, in a weird way, I feel like only contributes to American individualism, which, if you'll excuse me, just give me 1 second here. I just have to... Yep. Okay. Yeah, but moving on. Look, am I saying that when every American was being told they or a loved one could have mesothelioma and that they could be entitled to financial compensation, we were at peak society? No, but there's no denying that good advertising had its spot in pop culture. Iconic ads were iconic because they were a shared experience, one that we all enjoy and held with us. But if every ad is tailored to the person, when you take the survey that is using social media, that experience is simply dead. And it's just one more way in which we are isolated from each other. I can live with that, but I'm just gonna put that out in the ether for somebody else to be upset about. I'm not here to solve your problems, I'm just here to make you aware of them. early days of advertising, all that mattered was the product. And that's fine, but it's not ideal for advertising to be entirely product-centric. For example, when a 14-year-old is trying to sell you a cordless vacuum on TikTok Shop at 7 in the morning, you don't care what brand made it, and you're probably not going to check. The brand means nothing to you. It's all about the product and its functionality, which really is how things should be. You have no loyalty to that company, which means that if a 12-year-old later sells you an even better cordless vacuum at half the price, well, first after you report their account because you're 12 and you're way too young to be on this social media platform, after you do that, you can buy this vacuum guilt-free because I don't care about that company. I just want a free cordless vacuum. Well, not free because it does cost money, but you get the idea. You want the most functional product, but brands don't want you to want that. They want you to be loyal, sticking with them even if the product that they're making is subpar to the competition. This is why branding is so important. Brands want to be people so bad because with the rise of millennials and Gen Z and just a tech-savvy generation in general, we've become more distrusting of these brands and companies. People are more suspicious of brands now, and we can hold them accountable and call them out. We can call them out on the same social media platforms that they advertise to us. The internet has allowed us to be haters in ways that we have never been able to before, and we should never forget that. But if I'm being honest, I don't think I want the trend of product-centric advertising to come back, because case in point, TikTok Shop. Now, I would just like to preface this by saying, if I ever could make a livable wage by enthusiastically selling people products that I may or may not have used on a social media website, I need you to know I would do that immediately. I need you to know that because I'm about to judge people who do the very same thing. I'm okay being a hypocrite. I just want to get that out at the forefront. Sellouts, jerks. I would never do that. I would do that. I would never do such a thing. I feel like this method of advertising may not be worse, but I wouldn't argue that it's better. I've heard somebody describe it as TikTok's QVC function, which feels very appropriate. It's all just reselling a bunch of trash from Temu and other Chinese factories. It's not great. Like, I don't think I trust any of these people. I don't know if these are good products. They're probably not. Look, again, I'm not saying I love branding or whatever, but I am saying that no branding means more risk for the consumer and less accountability for the producer. That's probably not good, right? I don't know. Again, I say all of that to say, if I am ever able to pay a month's rent off selling lamps on TikTok, I am folding like a chair. Look, I feel weird advocating that, hey, maybe we should give big companies more money, but I feel like this is where the trend is going, and I don't think it's the worst idea in the world. Like, why is paying for social media such a crazy idea? There was a time where I was paying for Hulu and Disney Plus as streaming services, and I liked them. They had a lot of good shows. They were good for me at the time. But if you check the screen time on my phone, I wasn't using the services that I was paying for most of the time. Most of the time I was using TikTok. And this wasn't because the streaming services were bad. I just think I enjoyed using TikTok more, because I did. So if I'm willing to pay for these services that I don't even use that frequently, is it insane to think that I would pay for a version of TikTok or any other social media app without ads? Maybe not. I don't know. Are most people going to do that? No. And I think the reason for that is the same reason we like social media in the first place. That's because it feels homemade. Because as children, we are taught by advertising and society that we only pay for professional services. That's natural and that's fine, but we also feel that they have to feel professional. So they have good packaging, they have a phone number you can call if you have a problem, they have HR, they have office buildings, they feel official. These things signify professional, and professional signifies pay us. So products and services that don't have that professional feel, they're more homemade, they may feel of less quality, even though 9 times out of 10 they're probably more. So too, I think it's the same thing with TV and streaming services. These are professional services with a professional feel. The cameras, the lights, the big name actors, these are the big leagues, so it makes sense that you have to pay for it. But paying for a meme slideshow made by a 15-year-old? Really? And this isn't to say there isn't good content on these platforms. Of course I'm not saying that. I'm here. But my point is, they don't feel professional. So they don't feel payment worthy. But that's kind of what we love about it, or at least I do. That's down to earth people like me and you. That's what makes it relatable, enjoyable. The amount of story times I've seen on TikTok with the comment section just saying that this feels like a FaceTime with a friend, that's the joy of it. That's what we like to see. I don't ever want to see that go away. But I wouldn't pay to FaceTime a friend. You get what I'm saying? The apps are well designed, they have a huge user base, and big companies behind them. They are professional, but they don't feel that way. And that's why I think most people wouldn't pay for them. Now you may have exceptions with like big name YouTubers, and that kind of makes sense, which is why I think YouTube Premium does exist and presumably some people are on it. But for the mainstream, I just don't know that people are ready to do it, even if it kind of does make sense. In the end, I think we just have to realize that people want money. You want it, I want it, TikTok wants it, State Farm wants it. The Reese's Puffs division of the Reese's Corporation wants it. We all want it. And that's never gonna change. People are gonna get it. But the only thing that we can change is how. Directly or indirectly. Indirectly, I feel means more grifters, more scams, and more children selling me products on TikTok. Leave me alone. But directly, even though I don't even think I want to do it, makes a lot more sense and objectively would make the user experience better. It means we won't have any more corporations or drop shippers trying to cramp our style. I just want my social media to be for the culture as much as it can be. The culture is so very stupid, and I wouldn't have it any other way.